let's talk about mental health. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, my name is Joy Dane, and let's just jump right into this video. As someone who has been struggling with a mental health journey for the last 10 years, I wanted to share with you a little bit of my experience as well as some of the common misconceptions that people have. I say 10 years because that is the time that I actually started getting help for a lot of my issues, such as anorexia at the time, as well as starting to deal with depression and anxiety. Unfortunately, I did not grow up in a home that believed in getting help for these types of issues, so it wasn't until I became an adult that I was able to go on my own to seek help for things. And in the last 2 months, I've been going on a weekly and bi-weekly basis to a therapist. It was weekly at first, and then we switched to bi-weekly just because thankfully I've been making progress, which is why I'm back on YouTube, because I feel like myself again. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about some misconceptions that a lot of people have for getting mental health help. Try saying that 3 times fast. Mental health help, mental health help, mental health help, mental blah, blah, blah. Yeah, this is a really common one. I think a lot of people just have this impression that if they go into a mental health facility and get checked in or talk to someone, they're immediately going to be labeled as just crazy. And that's the only stamp that everyone carries. It's like this, place your head here, you're crazy. And trust me, I had those feelings the first time I went to a counselor to talk about depression and unfortunately suicidal thoughts. When I went to my therapist, I was very surprised that they were very understanding. I found out later, and this is just from studying psychology, your therapist or counselor has probably heard it all. So what you're going to tell them isn't going to surprise them. And actually it shouldn't, especially if they are a well-trained and a seasoned professional. There is no cookie cutter treatment or diagnosis for anyone's mental health. What you struggle with and what I struggle with may be completely different. What you have and what I have may be the same, but your symptoms and outcomes might be a little bit different as well. I struggle with post-traumatic stress disorder. I was recently diagnosed with this, also known as PTSD. My PTSD triggers are going to be much different from someone who has come from serving overseas and having a loud explosion or experiencing trauma in a very gruesome, violent way. My trauma comes mostly from sexual abuse and physical abuse as a child. Therefore, my thoughts and triggers are going to be much different than someone who's experienced trauma as an adult. It's very different. If you go to the right therapist or counselor or psychiatrist, they're going to actually sit down and treat you like a human being. They're going to ask you what your symptoms are, what you're facing. They're also going to want to know about your history and why you're feeling this way and why you've come to this conclusion. They're not going to treat you like you're crazy, and they're not going to act like they're better than you. And if you go to a counselor that treats you like that, you're at the wrong one, and you should find someone else. People just assume as soon as they tell somebody they've got some issues, they're going to be dumped with a plate full of pills and have to pop them all the time and be told what to take and what not to take. If you go to the right psychiatrist, they're not going to want to prescribe you a whole bunch of things that could potentially make you worse off than what you were when you first walked in. They're going to want to find the right medication for you and make sure you don't have bad reactions to them. Medication is not bad. And I think that's a stigma that I've had to work over. I was told all my life that medications for mental health was only for crazy people, and it was bad to do that. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of fears like, am I going to get addicted to this prescription? Or is this something that might overtake my life completely? These are all things that you should discuss with your psychiatrist and let them know you have these fears. This is definitely a common misconception that a lot of people have. They just assume as long as they go to a therapist or a counselor and tell them all their problems, they're immediately going to be stuck in this restricted life where they can never do anything ever again. Completely false. Let me just put it this way. It would be a ridiculous statement if you said,
"No, I'm so sorry, like, I can't go out shopping because I have braces. Do you see these?"
And not to say that if you have depression or anxiety or any type of mental health thing that you're dealing with, that it doesn't make it hard for you to do certain things. Trust me, I understand. Last year, I was in about a 6-month period where I didn't leave my house for sometimes 3 weeks at a time. 3 weeks inside my house. I do work from home full time, so my job doesn't require me to leave, and I didn't want to leave my home because of depression. I would literally get off work, go right to bed and not wake up till the next morning and do the same thing over and over and over again. It was a terrible cycle. So I completely understand if there are some things that are harder to work with, but that's not exactly what I'm saying. What I'm saying is just because you go to a therapist or a counselor and you tell them all of your issues or things that you're struggling with does not mean that they're going to tell you that you can never ever have a normal or a happy life. Yes, there may be some things that they suggest you avoid. Like I said, I was recently diagnosed with PTSD, so I've been told that there are certain things that I shouldn't do or shouldn't be around that may cause me to have triggers. I've also been taught how to deal with my triggers, that way when they do happen and if they're unavoidable, I know exactly what to do and how to work through them. So your therapist and counselor is going to give you a lot of advice on how to work through specific things. There's nothing wrong with going out and seeking help for a toothache. Why would it be any more different to go out and seek help for mental health? As someone who has experience going to counseling and therapy and psychiatrist appointments, I just wanted to let you know that it is not scary at all. The scariest part is actually just getting there. Once you're there, it's really not that bad. After the last couple of months of just getting help and talking to a psychiatrist and a therapist, I've really been able to gain back control that I had lost over my life. So thankfully, I'm on the up and up side of this journey, and you can be too. I want you guys to know that there is hope, and if you feel like you need to go see a therapist or a counselor, by all means, please do it. It will change your life as long as you go to the right one, of course. That's all I had for you guys today. I just wanted to check in with you guys and let you know my personal experience of going to therapy, as well as clearing up some of those misconceptions that you guys might have had. So it was good to see you guys again. I hope you all are doing great, and I will catch you later. All right, bye.